the batsman drink whiskey. He got more drink.
So today we have Mr. How should I introduce you?
Keep it natural.
Bookie Dan. Okay, so we have Bookie Dan, who is no stranger to Freedom FM. He has been here many times. We have spoken many times over the phone, over the internet, all kind of things. But he's in the studios with us. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is your first time in the studio,
yes,
right?
First time in the studio.
Yes.
But, we, as you said before, we did a lot of our work on the internet. The only thing that I have to correct you with is we're not here with the Sink It's Music Festival. It's a Sugar Mass Committee.
Oh, the Sugar Mass Committee. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, we're doing some marketing through the Sink It's Music Festival. And in exchange, when our festival is going on, you guys going to come down and do the same.
So we're collaborating.
Of course.
St. Kitts Nevis and Gwilla.
Of course. No, you got it.
No, I started out with the song because, again, when I pulled up the song, I was like, but this was 9 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's just mind-blowing for me.
Yeah.
That, you did this song 9 years ago on the sickle rhythm. So you're a Kittitian, basically.
all the time. Yeah.
Basically.
Before I came to the studio, I was with a youngin. I call him a youngin. He was like, but tell me a bit about yourself and so forth, So I say, I'm a musician. I don't do as much as I used to before. I'm filling a different role.
Yes.
And, before I go forward, let me introduce myself to my Kittitian people. You understand? My name
Corwin
is...
Carty?
Yes, Mr. Corwin Carty. Everybody calls me Bookie Dan. I'm presently the vice chairman of the Anguilla Summer Festival Committee. I am responsible for street road logistics, the bands and so forth. So we
tell them what
Juve.
qualifies you for this role.
Well, what qualifies me is good work.
Yes, lots of work,
good
years and
hard
years
work.
of work.
Yes, very much so. So so while I was with the youngin, by the festival's office, he was like, "Tell me a bit about yourself and so forth." I say, Stickle? Of course, no Stickle. I say, Kelly? Of course, Kelly. So I say, type in. So he type in. I say, my bite. I say, listen to the words properly. So when he started playing my bite, he say, wait, you sing that? I say, of course. I sang it. And I sang it with my bro from another mother. So that's how I became a Kittitian differently.
Yes.
Mr. Shaman Brown, respect to him. We call him Sham. Straight out of Canary. Now my brother. So... yeah, he was like, he come for the autograph and so forth. And I just put that,
Yeah.
But seriously, he know the song, he loved the vibes, and he said, I think it was last year they did like look back on the Stickle drum rhythm and so forth, and he just couldn't believe.
Because that was an awesome contribution to the music landscape here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I would imagine Anguilla as well.
Of course, and a lot of big guys, big artists on the rhythm. And it's not surprising for me that we did well because I know from that as well, I came with my team here for the Cooler Fete. We performed for the Cooler Fete. It was well received. I had a guy in the crowd, splashing the money, saying, no, he got money, more money in the hand. I say, yo, B, walk with me, bring me some, But it was a real vibe. And, walking with my Kittitian people, as I said, I did work with Rascally. I did a track even further back with Mr. Mention, and
all really, really big names in St. Kitts.
Yes, guys, doing a good job and still doing a good job, and we must appreciate them.
Definitely. So it's the Anguilla Summer Festival.
Yes.
What makes the Anguilla Summer Festival special?
Well, once you go and Google Anguilla, you'd see our beautiful beaches.
Definitely.
What makes us unique is every day for the festival, except the parade day, which I will talk a bit about, and the poker run, which is the Saturday. Every day there's a boat race. So it ain't like that you just going to pageantry or you're going to big events, big fetes and so forth. But we always started with our boat racing, and we very cultural. That's our national sport. So every day when you go to the beach, because you'd have some at Sandy Ground, which is on the August Monday. You'd have on Sandy Ground. You'd have the August Sunday. It starts from the Sunday. And then we just talking the boat racing part now. And then you'd go down to Sandy Ground. And then on August Monday, which is the big day, it's on the beach party as well. So every day there is a boat race. On the Tuesdays, Island Harbor. On the Wednesdays, Blowing Point. On the Thursdays, down Meads Bay. I think I get a little bias when it comes to Meads Bay. I have
I kind of biased towards Island Harbor.
And that's all,
you know how that goes.
Yeah. All of us got our biasness.
Exactly.
Just like the chairman would say, Briggy, he's very biased when it comes to the beach party because that's his baby. I'm very biased when it comes to bands.
Yes,
because,
definitely.
I'm a part of that, And as I said, that there's a boat race that would be going on every day. And then you would have a beach party kind of vibe. The same youngin asked me, he say, I just drink my little liquor and so now and then. He's of age, eh? He's of age, but
but young in comparison to you. But you're kind of aging yourself, right?
Yes, of course. No, and that's okay.
But
we get better.
Yes,
we get better with age. So he was like, do you have that? I say it's a festive mood all the time. The guys are down there, backing whichever boats. The rivalry. Who's coming in first, and then they gather points over the season, going into the Champa Champs, which is the Sunday. That's the grand finale. So if you don't get a certain amount of points, you'd get dropped at the wayside. So it's a real vibe, and our Juve, our Juve is from the streets, from town. We going on Sandy Ground. It's like a relay. So when you reach the Sandy Ground now, then the boat race kick off. While the boat race is out, we have the biggest Caribbean beach party on August Monday.
And that's what's unique about Anguilla, because you've been able to incorporate the boat race with the Juve. I've never seen that done in any other Caribbean nation. We have Juve. Juve is something that is common, but not with the boat race as well.
Right, and this is why we can encourage our patrons to basically come, and you can pack light, because we're going on the beach. We're going to beach rail, little or nothing. It's just a vibe. It's just a real vibe, and that what makes us unique. And differently than that, our food, our people, for sure.
Definitely.
Our drinks, our cocktails, our hospitality. In St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla, it was always
nation
all the time. You understand? So this is what making so much sense. So when the team came to Anguilla and we had a discussion, we was like, let's do this.
Definitely.
Let's do this. We have to help each other.
Definitely. I mean, there are so many commonalities between St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla. You hear, even with the surnames.
Yes.
You hear certain surnames and you're like, Anguilla, right?
Yeah.
It just comes naturally,
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to have you here. Speaking about that, one of the things, I'm seeing an international night as well.
Yes. So let's go through this calendar properly. We got on the 25th of July. It's the opening night. So, as you can see, it's the...
Hi. Welcome.
Yes,
Good afternoon. So we have another guest here from Angola joining us. Good afternoon.
You sure she's just Anguillan?
Oh, Lord.
Huh? well,
So I'm going to put her on the spot,
We
too.
were just talking about the Kittitian Anguillan connections, right? And you have connections in St. Kitts too, right?
I do.
Yes.
My maternal family is from here.
Okay.
My entire family. So it's a great bridge for everybody to
Yes.
kind of come together now to join the two festivals. So, yeah. Or you need me to expand on who I'm from?
Of course. Not only that.
But you're putting her on the spot. Maybe she doesn't want to
No.
to share all
Hey,
her story
what?
on freedom.
No. One thing, she knows exactly what to say, but
Okay.
differently than that, in what capacity.
Okay.
You know, because you could let them know what our slogan is, and that's the reason why I want her to explain. Let her know.
So this year, our theme for Angola Summer Festival 2025 is Igniting the Future, a festival reimagined. So what we've done so far, we have engaged a bunch of youth in different aspects and created a new set of... Our committee is very broad-based.
Right.
So we've created an avenue for everybody to have a highlight
Right.
during our festival this
Right.
year.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And that's why I say I need her to speak because she's the future.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, I get it.
Yes.
I get it now. And that's important because we want to see the longevity of the festival.
Right.
And that only can happen if the younger people
Right.
take on the baton, right? So, Bucky, you were going through
Yeah,
the
and,
calendar.
yeah,
Because
and-
this calendar looks packed, eh?
Of course, it's packed. It's packed, and it's gonna give you a good pack too, and a good punch. So Mia is definitely she's dealing with the opening night, so she could talk a bit more about the opening night, which is on
July 25th. So with opening night, last year we didn't have it, but we normally have a Light the Street parade. So I brought that back. So it's basically a glow in the dark parade. I've gotten some drums, some different participants for the festival, whether that be our boat racing, our private events, our pageantry, music, everything. They're gonna come and showcase what they can on the road, from our airport down to our Lansabo Cultural Center. From there, it's going to be a great transition into our typical opening night celebrations where we have our fireworks, our introductions by our ministers, our chairman, and then we're going to have what I wanted to do was create a musical timeline. A musical timeline and dramatized timeline in a sense to highlight the different aspects that go into our carnival, whether that be drama, whether that be dance, whether that be music. So right now I'm trying to put everything together to create a nice night for us for opening on the 25th.
Okay. So that's the 25th, and we're going to kind of have to rush through because time is good.
Yes.
Not our friend this
right.
afternoon. We have lots of things to do this afternoon.
Right.
So after the opening, Jam Fitness, Prince and Princess show.
Yes.
Yeah, for Prince and Princess right now we have 5 schools that's participating out of our 7.
7, yes.
So that's going to be a really good show. Junior Calypso, we have 9 contestants. We have 9 contestants performing. Those ages range from 7?
7, yeah.
7 to 18.
Yeah.
Then we have Flow Soccer Monarch. I think we have
On the
about
Wednesday.
9, which is on the 30th, Wednesday. Miss Talented Teen, we recently had our cocktail for that as well.
Okay.
There are 5 contestants, 5 beautiful young ladies for that. For Band Clash,
Yes, that be on the Friday. We have 8 bands. They're going to be partaking in the test tune and also the band clash itself. That would be on the Friday, the 4th, which would be a bit different because we normally have it on the Saturday. So the weekend that we talk about before with the opening and so forth, that's more like a kiddies friendly because they have the Prince and Princess,
Yes, the
junior
children
this is our
section.
warm-up. That's our warm-up weekend.
Okay.
Into
So-
the Jam-Pack weekend.
And then
August.
into the Jam Pack weekend, August 1st, Band Clash,
Clash,
and then the
EPG Juve, right, on the
we
Saturday.
spoke a little bit about the Juve already.
Yes, and then from there we go to so it's from the village to the street and back to the street because then we have South Valley Community Street Festival, and that's going to be going on until all day and into the evening. They're going to have vendors there. We're going to have entertainment. We're going to have a big stage. We're going to have vibes, right? And then from there, we go straight back into the Lansam Bowl Cultural Center when we'd have the International Night. So yes.
For
And
International Night this year, we have Sanchez, Cranium, Deani, Chanel, La Pervesa, and we have a few more artists as well.
Right.
So it's going to be a great night as well.
And this is going to be put on by Titanium's audio, visuals, and songs.
Okay.
They're going to be putting that on the international night. And from the international night, we go into what, Mia?
We have August Sunday.
Right.
So boat race is a big part of our culture. So we have our August Sunday boat race, which is a big, big thing. And we have Carnival at Leon's. So
Right.
Leon's is a part of one of our hotels, Malihana.
Right.
They have their restaurant at the beach where they do different events, such as lunch every day as basics.
Right.
So they have a big event down there where they have performance and everything.
Right.
So it'll be a nice
A beach
Scene.
and brunch.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we'd have the warm up, like the welcome to the beach party. On the Sunday, we'd have the boat race as well. And then we'd go into Juve morning, the Monday morning. That starts from town, goes down Sandy Ground, goes into the August Monday beach party,
beach party.
Caribbean beach party, and the August Monday boat race. And then we go to Tuesday. The Tuesday would be
The Miss Anguilla pageant. For Miss Anguilla, we have 5 great contestants. If you follow our pages, you'll be able to see all of our contestants so far for the pageants. We are on our way to releasing the rest of our pageants and our musical contestants. So keep updated. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
right.
Okay.
And then from there we go straight into Eyes. No.
No, we
No,
have on Wednesday we have
Wednesday.
Senior
The
Calypso.
Senior
Monarch.
Calypso
Calypso
Monarch.
Senior Calypso, we have 16 contenders this year. So we have our semifinals. That's going to be, it's not listed in our calendar, but it's going to be happening.
I think
So,
it's on it. Yeah, I
I
think
think
it's
it
on
should
it.
be on July 12th.
Right.
We have our semifinals, and then about 10 of our contestants will be going to finals
Finals, right.
on the 6th of August.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm seeing Eyes
White
White
Shut,
Shut.
yes.
That's
Yes.
something that we are very familiar with
yes.
right here in St.
So
Kitts.
Eyes Wide Shut that's O'Leary's baby.
That's O'Leary's
O'Leary
baby.
is also our marketing
But
our
yes.
marketing chair for the Summer Festival Committee.
Mm-hmm.
He this year is 10 years for Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
So he has the theme Olympics. So
Olympics.
everything jerseys.
Anything jerseys.
Anything jerseys, you come down to August Thursday in Sandy Ground.
Uh-huh.
He has Marsha
Montano. And before I came here, when the guys saw Marshall, they were like, we ain't had Marshall here. I think we can
In a
come
while.
down. And I think you
Yeah.
could come as a referee, I think you could come as a referee. Continue with the lineup for Eyes Wide Shut.
who else does O'Leary have?
Yeah, Asa Banton.
Michelle.
I think it's Mr. Ridge.
Yes, Mr. Rich is
Ridge,
also one.
yes.
And then we have a good bit of local acts as well.
Right.
Then we have August Thursday Beach Party. They haven't released their lineup as yet, but I can tell you that it's also great.
Yes.
And then we have the poker run.
Yes.
Yes, but we passed Parade first.
Yes, Parade and
Uh-huh.
So
Festival.
Parade this year we have tweaked it a little bit. We
Yes.
don't have a judging competition
For sure.
this year, but we do have quite a few troops on the road. So anybody is willing, they can follow our pages as well to see
And
who's coming on the road.
Akai will be a
Yes,
part of the
he will
parade,
be.
right?
I think
Akai.
he's
Right, with-
Mark,
yes.
Infinity
Right there.
Illusions.
Okay.
Infinity Illusion.
So Akai is sweet.
And HD. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Exodus HD and Akai will be on the road with Infinity Illusions this year, so you can check out our social media as well as Infinity Illusions, especially Summer Festival too, because we have a few other troops from around the Caribbean that will be joining us on the road this
Right.
year.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. And we know the poker run is huge.
Huge.
Yes, Poker
Yes.
Run is also 10 years this year,
Yes.
so I think everybody should try to make their way down to Anguilla for the fun festivities of Poker Run. That's one of my favorite events on the calendar.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then the champions of champions boat race
is
to
on the Sunday.
end it off.
Yes.
Yes.
Grand finale.
Yes. I'm so blown away by the lineup because I know it's just action. It's a jam-packed week. I want to thank you so much for coming, but invite people to come to Anguilla. Invite everyone to be in Anguilla during that 2 weeks? 2
Yes,
weeks.
2 weeks. 2
For
weeks.
that 2 weeks.
Yes, everybody come. Our doors are open. The hospitality is great. The food is great.
And
the
we
people
all have
great.
family in Anguilla. We
Of
can
course.
find somebody to
Exactly.
stay with.
Of course. Yes, that's the least.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
the least. Just come on down, and we definitely want to take this time out to thank the Sugar Mass Festival Committee for basically opening their arms to us. And we, as we say, we're gonna do the same. You could look for us later. We're gonna be by the Music Fest right
Yes.
next to the Sugar Mash
And then
tent.
they'll be back on Freedom FM on
On
Saturday
Saturday.
with
Yes.
Sweet Sister Sincere.
Yes.
So all of you who are just tuning in, you didn't miss it. We're gonna
And-
be back.
And we're gonna be giving away a few tickets.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you stop by our booth tonight
Right.
at the music festival, we will be giving away some of our tickets to the shows. I won't
so
express which
definitely,
ones
I'll
yet, but
definitely stop
take
by.
a pass. And
Okay.
see if you get lucky tonight.
Yep. And we're gonna have our photo app too. So whoever takes maybe who takes the best picture, got the most likes, maybe the best group picture, even to that, you never know.
I will also probably be running around during the festival looking for some Anguillians. So if any Anguillians see me, he can stop me, take a picture for the stories, tag
Yes.
you, and then we'll just go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. We're way over time, but
Yes.
I'm so excited to have you guys here. And again, you'll be back on Saturday
Saturday, yes.
with Sweet Sister Sincere. So everybody stay tuned. You just may win a ticket
Right.
or two.
Right. Thank you so
on
much.
Saturday.
Thank
Thank you. And Bouquet, it was so good to see you
Same
again.
here. Same here.
Can I get a wow? It's the sound you make when you get all alone. Wow. It's the effect you'll get when you upgrade your home. From a place you once knew to a dream home come true. Wow. Is a brand new view with a love that's so strong. Where you belong. Wow. For a home like new. Wow. It's the sound you'll make when you get all alone. Wow. It's the effect you'll get when you upgrade your home.
Upgrade, improve, enhance your home with National Bank's Wow Mortgage. For the effect you'll get when you upgrade your home. Lowest interest rate guaranteed and the most favorable terms.
Wow Mortgage. Can I get a wow?
Reliable. Dependable. Delta.
If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta. Don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas fast. All petroleum needs ULSD. Everyone in the region is shouting, go Delta. Premium gasoline in a fully stocked C-store. So there's only one place you should be. Delta Petroleum, baby.
Y'all ready for this?
St. Kitts and Nevis, are you ready? The game is about to change. Sports betting and iGaming like you've never seen it before. Coming soon. Powered by BetGage Sports. The action, the odds, the thrill. Bet the way you want. Anytime, anywhere. Get ready, St. Kitts and Nevis, because BetGage Sports is bringing the heat. The heat is on. Proud sponsor of Cricket West Indies. Play responsibly. Must be 21 and older to play. The heat is on.
RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited, located on West Independence Square Street, Bastyr, St. Kitts, and the Solomon Arcade, Nevis, offers you safe and reliable transfers at great low rates and fees to 507,000 locations worldwide, with a pickup time of just 15 minutes after your transfer. And for even more ease of doing business, we home deliver and direct bank deposits in selected countries. So if anytime you want to send money to family, friends, and loved ones, at RIA, we've got you covered with over 30 years of experience moving money quickly, efficiently, and securely across 160 countries. Give us a call at 465-3325 in St. Kitts or 469-3325 in Nevis. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 8:30 in Nevis, and on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. RIA Easy Money Transfer Limited.
What if your money did more than sit in an account? What if it built dreams, supported families, and empowered futures? At St. Kitts Credit Union, we're more than a financial institution. We're a family that believes in your potential, rooted in people helping people. Enjoy competitive savings rates and low interest loans for mortgages, vehicles, education, and more. Need security for you or your loved ones? The Family Indemnity Plan and Loan Protection Insurance give your loved ones peace of mind, whether you're saving for school, building your business, or planning for tomorrow. SKCU is here for you. It's not just about banking, it's about belonging. Contact us at 465-2272 or any of our branches. Learn more online at www.skccu.com. Become a member today and be a part of something greater.
Hey, Webmaster here. I stay connected to Freedom with the Freedom SKN app. Simply search for the Freedom app in the Android's Play Store or the Apple's App Store and download it. Enjoy world-class radio at its best, anytime, anywhere. Become a Freedom apper today.
Can I get a wow? It's the sound you'll make when you get out loud. Wow. It's the effect you'll get when you upgrade your home. From a place you once knew to a dream home come true. Wow. Is a brand new view with the love that's so strong. Where you belong. Wow. For a home like new. Wow. It's the sound you'll make when you get out low. Wow. It's the effect you'll get when you upgrade your home.
Upgrade, improve, enhance your home with National Bank's Wow Mortgage. For the effect you'll get when you upgrade your home. Lowest interest rate guaranteed and the most favorable terms.
It's Wow Mortgage. Can I get a wow?
Reliable, dependable, Delta.
If you live here in St. Kitts and your tank on E, there's only one place that you should be. Maybe driving in Nevis and you need some fuel. Go straight to Delta. Don't be a fool. Get your cooking gas fast. All petroleum needs ULSD. Everyone in the region is shouting, go Delta. Premium gasoline in a fully stocked C-store. So there's only one place you should be. Delta Petroleum, baby.
Y'all ready for this?
St. Kitts and Nevis, are you ready? The game is about to change. Sports betting and iGaming like you've never seen it before. Coming soon. Powered by BetCage Sports. The action, the odds, the thrill. Bet the way you want. Anytime, anywhere. Get ready, St. Kitts and Nevis, because BetCage Sports is bringing the heat. The heat is on. Proud sponsor of Cricket West Indies. Play responsibly. Must be 21 and older to play. The heat is on.
Hello, good afternoon. It is a beautiful day in St. Kitts and Nevis. It is sunny out there, and I suspect that it is not hot. It's not an unbearable hot because perhaps nature is sensing that it is festival time in St. Kitts. I didn't plan to say that. You can feel the movement around town. You can feel the pulse that something is happening. Something special is happening. You know, like when I was planning to come this afternoon, I said, well, what clothes am I going to put on? I said, I got to put something that is casual, but something that is yet celebratory. So I say, what happened? So I say, okay, boy, take off this kind of formal clothes that you have. I took off the formal clothes. I put my jeans. I say, well, what do I put at the top now? I had a long sleeve. I said, take off the long sleeve now. Oh, and I found this red shirt I bought from Paris. Now I said, what? Maybe that's give me the sense of sharing that joy. I'm saying all of that because you are listening to Freedom FM 106.5. We are the world-class radio at its best. And you are listening to Issues. I am your host, Coach Adrian. And as usual, it is always great to have you on my show. Today is going to be special. We are getting into the festival mood. We are getting into, and if you were to find yourself in Bastille, you'll begin to feel the pulsating. But as usual, before we begin, I always like to reach out. When I was preparing for the program, it dawned on me that there are two things I always wanted to do. I wanted to big up 3 important classes of workers in the country. And my spirit said, why not do it now? I say, yes, I want to big them up. And what are those classes of workers? 1, the traffic department. 2, the parks and beaches unit. I think they are now part of the Ministry of Environment and the Public Works Department. I want to big up, and I'll tell you why I want to big up these 3 class of workers. The Traffic Department, the Parks and Beaches Unit of the Ministry of the Environment and Public Works Department. Why? Because you see, it is what they are doing is touching me personally. You know, every Saturday I do what I call my 7 to 8 mile brisk walk. Sometimes I start as early as 4 a.m. And I must say, to these 2 classes or 3 classes of workers, they make my early morning health walk so much more enjoyable. You might be saying, Peter, why are you saying that? Because the Parks and Beaches unit, they keep the road verge, the verges clean, and they make my walking delightful. Look, it's only those guys who are on that road, and the fellas and the ladies and the men that I meet, the young men, the young women we meet on that early morning, they will appreciate what I am saying there. I want to say thanks to the traffic department in particular for marking the roads and creating a safe lane for pedestrians. And particularly where there is no sidewalk. Special thanks to the traffic department for marking the bypass road and for marking the new St. Peter's Highway. And I want to say also, when you walk on the road, particularly where you have no sidewalk, you are quite at risk. There are 1 or 2 times I've almost been knocked down, not by the vehicle coming towards me or the vehicle coming behind me, but on those early morning, vehicles overtake I've been almost knocked down by the vehicle overtaking the one coming from behind. Now, when you have the walkway, like what is the traffic department prepared markup on the bypass road, it makes the road safer. It creates, if you want, a safe path for people who walk like me. And I want to be very, very thankful. And I want to also be thankful to the traffic department for marking the roads. And of course, the public works department for using their judgment. Of course, it costs them more money. But when they are building their road, they add in sidewalk. Now, you might think, people say, why is sidewalk? Very, very, very important. Important for pedestrians, but particularly important for those of us who use the road for health walk, for jogging, etc., etc. So I just want to say to all of you all, I salute you, traffic. I salute you, parks and beaches. I salute you, public works. Now, let's go. A listener met me in Bastère. He had some good things to say, but he had some things to say to me that he didn't like. And I sought to write it down in the way and in the mood that he said it. And this is why I'm having the kind of program I'm having today. Let me quote what he said to me. I want to say it exactly how he said it. I tried to write it down, and I don't believe I'll be able to say it exactly, but I'm quoting it. Why all you and the government them wasting money on music festival and bacchanal every year? I suppose he treated me as if I was a minister of government. I'm simply a talk show host. But the issue is, he does not believe that money is spent properly when it is used to hold events like music festivals, etc. So I thought it would be a fitting time, particularly music festival begins today, for us to discuss music festival and to look at the issue of the education with respect to it, the information with respect to it, and also the promotion. And as a result of that, I deliberately did a little research on events, summer events in the Caribbean. And I discovered that the Minister of Tourism or the Ministry of Tourism may not be necessarily wasting taxpayers' money when they host annual events like music festivals. Because there seems to me, according to the information that I gathered, there is a bigger picture for these big summer events that we see all throughout the Caribbean. There is a bigger picture. It is not just an event, but it's an event that is connected to a bigger picture. And this is what I discovered. And there are 3 points I discovered in the research. One, tourism, that is particularly travel and hospitality, they have been driving economic activity in St. Kitts for a very long time now. And tourism impacts all sectors of the economy. It impacts all sectors of the economy, creating jobs in all sectors of the economy, from construction to wholesale and retail, to banking and finance, to transportation, to agriculture, and to the range of the cultural products or the cultural sector. Secondly, tourism business cycle is very short. The tourist business cycle is very short. That is practically from November to April. Now, after that period, people must still find money to eat, to take care of their families to pay their rent and mortgages and keep themselves and their families alive. The next thing that I discovered, that during the low season, Caribbean tourist destinations, they must find jobs for the people. They must find ways to bring in new monies, particularly in this high inflationary time. So the Ministry of Tourism hosts annual, and that is so for the entire Caribbean, the Ministry of Tourism, they host annual music festivals during the summer months to appeal to tourists seeking unique travel experiences. So that is why we have the Barbados Crop Over, we have the Jamaica Reggae Sun Fest, we have the St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival, we have the St. Kitts Music Festival, you have Nevis Culturama, etc. and throughout. So what is happening there is that the governments in those countries, in those tourist destinations, they are deliberately trying to lengthen, if you want, the business cycle of tourism, which otherwise is very short. And during the low period or the off-season, workers or people who are connected, whether forward linkage or backward linkage, they are under stress. Now, when I did that research, I said, but Peter, yes, the literature says that and the experience says that. How true is that? So I said, I'm going to drive around. I'm going to drive around and I'm going to have meet with those people who do accommodation, etc. I was able to visit 4 properties and I spoke with the people in reservation. I visited the Marriotts. I spoke with the people. In fact, I went to the Marriott twice. I visited the Royal St. Kitts, Timothy Beach, and Boardwalk Hotel. You know what is the news? They are all fully booked. They are all fully booked. Or where they are not booked, they have just enough place left for a fly. Now, the point that I'm making here is that for an event of that nature in the low period, to be able to bring in, attract those kind of, if you want, visitors, bringing in new money, this is magnificent. And of course, we must remember that what we are talking about, therefore, we have jobs during the off-season, we have new monies coming in during the off-season, and of course, you have monies changing hand during that off-season. That's very, very important. I thought I needed to say that because the person who spoke with me, maybe a number of us did not really appreciate the importance of tourism to the Caribbean countries, and we do not appreciate, therefore, the link between tourism and the rest of the economy. And of course, since COVID-19, the tourism sector have been driving activities in the economy up to now. So we have, therefore, to give them a lot of credit in the sense that in the off-season, at the low time in that sector, they are able to have all the major hotels, of course, not Park Hyatt. I did not, I'm not the high-end, the other one in the hill, but the others are. And of course, there are I spoke to people, there are a number of apartments and villas and so on that are benefiting. So that's beautiful. So these events offer a mix of music, cultural celebration, local products, and local cuisine. They attract international visitors, and of course, they boost the local economy. So this is why I have decided that to use the show today for us to talk about music festival, to talk about what is happening, what the opportunities that it offers. I have in studio with me, I deliberately, I said I'm going to bring an artist and I'm going to bring somebody who's going to speak with us on the products that is related to the music festival. You know, in the Caribbean and the world too, music festival has really developed. There was a time you go to a jazz festival or you go to music festival is music and dance and whatever. But what countries have realized that you can cross-sell, and these are opportunities for you to showcase your products, and therefore a number of countries take advantage of the products that they can sell. Now, one of the products that we are going to talk a lot about this more on our show is cannabis. Cannabis, and there's going to be a lounge where people can use cannabis, and that's beautiful. Now, for that program, I have invited her in the studio with me, Kalanje. Kalanje, welcome.
Yes, thank you, Brother Adrian, for inviting me today to talk about the cannabis. And
before you do anything, let me just give you my gift. Anybody who comes on my show, I buy those books out of America. I believe health is wealth. I believe you can have all the money that you have in the world. You can make the most money that you want. You can have the largest stock, or you can have the biggest portfolio. If you don't have health to enjoy it, Solomon, see you wasting time. So that everybody who comes to my show, I give them this beautiful gift. It's called health and happiness. This is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, my lad.
Now, Kalanje, you're not new to freedom. You basically freedom almost belong to you.
Okay.
Now, Kalanje, tell people who you are for those who don't know you.
Well, basically,
we ain't talking about music festival yet. Just introduce yourself for those who don't really know you. They don't know how powerful you are.
Well, I don't see myself as a powerful. I just see myself basically as a brother who have certain experiences, living a lot of time in the United States.
Yes.
And what I have experienced, especially in the black liberation struggle, and trying to impart the information to our people, because I don't think they have the proper understanding of what is happening in the world and the geopolitics that is taking place. I'm a son of this.
We're not going there yet.
Yeah.
Don't take me down that road.
Yeah.
We might reach there. We are going there. So, Kalanje, tell them who exactly who you are. I understand that. But come on, tell
I'm a son of the soil.
Yes.
Birthed by David.
Well, when I first saw you, I thought you were just an international man, and you took residence here, because I mean the mark of international is written upon you. You can do whatever you want. I mean it's stamped on you. What happened?
Well, basically, I've interacted in terms of black people. I've been to the highest level of acquaintance. You know, I met Malcolm X's wife.
You serious?
Yeah, I also.
My. You have pictures?
No, I don't have any pictures.
You need the pictures?
No. I was in the audience in Harlem at the Abyssinian Baptist Church.
I went there. I visited there with my wife.
Fidel Castro gave a lecture there. You know, so I was in the audience. So basically, you know, I know Dr. Ben, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. I interviewed him. I met Marcus Garvey.
Before we go there, why the name Kalanje? Am I calling it well?
Yeah, Kalonji.
Kalonji.
Yeah.
Kalonji. It's C-O...
No, K-A-L-O-N-J-I. Kalonji.
Now, why that? What was the name your mother gave you before?
The name my mother gave me is John Jeffords.
John Jeffords?
Yeah,
so why you change that?
Because I'm an African.
Come on, talk to us.
Right?
Tell me exactly why you changed.
So what I'm saying to you, basically, I looked up a name that have a proper meaning, and all Africans' name have a meaning. So when I looked up Kalonji, you know, it says a man of victory. My son's name is Kimani Dingani Akintundi.
But it's so difficult, I can't even pronounce it.
Yeah, my daughter's name is Jamila, you know. But what I'm saying to you is that my father and my mother, David Jeffords and Felicia Jeffords, you know, I grew up here in the Federation and left early. I went to New York, you know, and I always like to say that when I went to New York, the Audubon Ballroom, the Jazz Brass International, well, Elimat and the Jazz Brass, I think one of the greatest bands ever, coming out not only of Sinkits but the Caribbean.
Kalonji, we're not going deep into that yet.
Yeah, but I just want to explain something.
Deep into that.
Just
make them know you.
Yeah, the Audubon Ballroom.
Yes.
You know, I went to that dance in 1979 when they were still together. And that is the place that Malcolm X was assassinated. Yeah. So that is the link.
Yes.
You see, there's a historical link. But I didn't at the time.
Yes.
When I was there. That Malcolm X was assassinated there. So basically,
I went down to Harlem and all this kind. But of course, I would not have had the kind of knowledge, because even if you go to the place, somebody have to walk you through it and whatever. Like what you're saying here now, as I listen to you, the things that I saw and it begin to make sense and whatever, a little more sense. So because you can see historical things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But you unless somebody can bring an explanation to you, you may not feel the ethos of it and whatever.
Yeah, man, our histories are linked, for instance.
Now, but let me go in. Let's remember we are sticking around music festival.
Okay.
To what extent, Kalonji, before we begin to talk, to what extent do you, here's a quote, I'm quoting something here. It says, the return from events like music festival, carnival, and international cricket, when they take place in the summertime, in the low period of the tourist season for those tourism-dependent countries like St. Kitts. And it says it is priceless. To what extent you buy that, you agree with that?
No, you see...
Let's forget about it. Just say a music festival. To what extent?
Yeah,
like I gave the information about that.
Yeah, it's important, like you say, in the off season.
Yeah.
But I think I think that we get those kind of directives from the metropolitan countries. I think we need to diversify our economy more in the sense that, okay, for instance, we're talking about cannabis, right?
No, we're not there talking about
cannabis. But I'm just...
We're going to come to it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying now, just by cannabis alone, you could create over 300 industries.
Yes.
So you could
we want to talk about that.
Yeah, we could diversify from
the total dependence on
tourism,
like the monocrop.
Monocrop tourism. But I think we are put into that.
Yeah, but do you agree that the injection that it brings, that those events, for example, I just read from the IMF reports. You know the IMF they are the external auditors. They do a report every year on the countries that are members. They did one on Antigua. And they said that the Antigua grew by 4% last year, 2024. And they are saying that primarily this was driven by the fact that Antigua hosted the World Cup. They were able to attract so much traffic and business, and therefore it boosts. Now, events like that, they have what we call, they create a boom in a short period.
But it's not sustainable.
It's not meant to be sustainable. That's not the point. Is not to be sustainable. The point is to give an injection, because basically a match is a match. Like Australia is coming here in July. When they come, they normally come with a large group. They come with the armies. You know what I'm talking about? So they will fill up your hotels and this and that and that. But the Australians will come to stay. If it is 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you milk them. You make the money out of them. But what I'm saying that this is just like a business boom. Any other cycle. See what I'm saying? So therefore, when the true season comes to an end, as I said, some of the people who are connected to the season and to the tourism industry and hospitality, they suffer. Some of them can't pay their loans. Some of them can't. They can't pay their school fees. They can't pay their rents and so on. Now they are laid off. Now, whenever you have full occupancy, what the properties do, as you know, they call back the workers. Now you can't underestimate that. Now, when you have a cricket, like an international cricket, or you have a music festival, what you are actually doing, you are selling the country. You're making the country known internationally. Now, when you make a country known internationally, whatever money you invested to do that, the return cannot just be assessed by what I said there, the occupancy in the hotel, the tourism expenditure, and so on. In other words, there will be other benefits that will follow in time to come. So I think it's in that sense they say it is priceless, not that it diversified. That's why we are going to talk about products that have high value added and that can sustain and whatever. Now, so much so, let's get into our music festival. The music festival, as they did last year, I had meetings with the tourism ministry. They are going to have what they call a cannabis lounge. What is that all about? Tell the people.
From my understanding, basically, is that it's a designated area where people could go and use marijuana or ganja.
So just like Woodstock, then they're going to have Woodstock where irresponsible people can just go and smoke and get bad. What is that all about?
No, it's a specific area.
Yeah, but you have a specific area to go and smoke and get bad and get high?
But I don't see it as doing bad or
well,
getting...
Come on. So what is it? What is it?
As a Rasta man, we see that as...
So you mean only Rastas going to go and smoke there?
No.
So why you coming, you tell me as a Rasta man?
No, what I'm...
talking about the music festival.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that the way how you describe it, we don't look at it that way.
Okay, tell me how you look at it.
You see?
Okay.
We see as using the herb as a form of inspiration where we could meditate, you know what I mean, and go into higher depths that, we could...
But Colin, just stay there. I like what you're saying though, but stay there. Remember, we're trying to nail it to music festival, the cannabis lounge. You go to music festival, you go and listen to music.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
So that I have a list of all the people who are going to be performing there. So a lot of people they're going to perform. The 26, the 27. I have some names that I can't even call and whatever. It's a lot of okay, fine. So you'll go and listen to the music. All right. So isn't that that's why you pay your money to get the inspiration? Why you have to smoke?
No, but you see, that's what I'm...
No, I'm deliberately pushing you. Yeah,
yeah, I understand. But what I'm trying to show you is that as Rastas...
Why you keep on saying Rastas?
Yeah, because we look at this thing in a different way.
Is the only person who smoke?
No, but what I'm saying is, basically, even somebody who ain't Rasta, they might even going to the music festival and just by using the herb, a conscious singer might have a impact upon them that they might never had before. You get my point?
I ain't getting the point, you know. You know why I'm not getting the point? I'm going to open the line just now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, College. I like the discussion. Here's the lounge. Or here is the designated place.
Yeah.
The designated place for smoking. By the way, can people smoke there? Those people who smoke pipe or people who smoke the cigarette, can they do that there too?
No, I think it's two different places for the cigarettes and the
No, but
the ganja.
Last week, one of my good friends...
calling.
I think he'll call.
Yeah.
He called in and he said that they're going to do... The people with cigarette going to be...
But he said he was going to bring it. He was going to bring it to the attention of the authorities.
Yeah, but the authorities have designated it so.
Okay. So I don't know.
Can they change that? So in a sense, if that is the case, the sacred thing you're talking about, that sacred connotation, that ain't it.
Well, for the Rasta man it is. You see, that's for the Rasta man it is.
Okay, so
Yeah.
explain. Okay, tell me from the Rasta man. The
Yeah,
Rasta man
because you
understand
see,
how it is.
I mean, how Babylon described her.
We don't know who is Babylon.
Okay, the system.
We don't know who is the system. The authorities there is the Ministry of Tourism.
Okay.
The authorities, they are the one hosting the music festival. Huh?
Uh-huh.
We making sure we understand each other. So in other words, if you call Babylon, the Ministry of Tourism is Babylon.
Okay.
So we don't want to disrespect them like
No,
that.
we ain't disrespecting nobody.
So we're not calling them Babylon. So we'll say the Ministry of Tourism.
All right.
So the Ministry of Tourism have designated, in fact, they have been accommodative enough for people's pleasure to create a designated place. Because the last man who called me, he agreed with that. Okay? Now, but the thing, somebody met me on the street and they said that the problem comes in when Rastaman believe this is their place.
But
respond to that. Respond to that.
One thing I realize that since that the governments in the Caribbean they have lesson, they allow now for medical cannabis and different forms of use.
Hold your breaks there. In the jazz, I'm from St. Lucia. In the Jazz and Arts Festival in St. Lucia, if you smoke ganja, you'll be arrested. So it's not so.
Okay, good.
So don't say in the Caribbean.
Okay, in St. Kitts in particular then.
Yes.
Let me deal with St. Kitts.
Yes.
They realize, from my observation, that based on the loosening up of, they call it decriminalization again, not legalization.
Yes.
And especially on music festivals, with that designated area.
Yeah, that's important because just like people are going to smoke.
They create that area because it go hand in hand with the music festival. I think that's the way how they look at it.
Well, yes, you can put it so, but I think another way to look at it is that the patrons who are the fans who are coming there, if they are smokers, they want to smoke. But there are two types of smokers in that sense. Smokers of cigarette that causes cancer, so the boxes, and smokers of the cannabis. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct.
But these two classes would be coming to enjoy music, the music,
yes,
the repertoires and all the music. Are you with me?
Yes.
So you are creating for them a sense, in other words, an environment for them to have excellency of enjoyment. Am I saying it well?
But you see, you're giving the patrons a designated area where they're not affecting the people who are not indulging in that.
Yeah, but it's making it sound like Woodstock. It's making it sound like Woodstock. You go, so in other words, you're creating a place for them to go and behave bad and just smoke their thing and behave bad and policemen can arrest them and whatever. Is that what it is?
No, that's not what it is.
Tell us what
because,
it is.
Because we don't make you behave bad.
Yeah?
We don't make you behave bad.
Come and talk to me. I have seen some of my friends behave
Yeah, but hear
bad.
what I'm saying. That's a perception of the system.
Not perception. I have seen it.
You have
with my
seen, but
eyes.
I have never experienced it.
Well, maybe you have not seen enough friends.
I'm
just joking.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've never seen that.
Let's take a pause. You are listening to Issues on Freedom FM 106.5. We are discussing music festival, and music festival has created a lounge for people who use cannabis, that they can enjoy themselves. They can smoke just like people who smoke cigarette. They can smoke in their own designated area, and while they enjoy the music. And of course, we are discussing the facility for that and the arrangement for that, and we're just discussing the issue. Now we are opening the line because we began late and we don't have much time this afternoon. We are opening the line. The number to call is 662-1065, 465-6474, 465-0888. 0546. 662-1065, 465-6474, or 465-0546. So we were talking about the facility is available for those persons. You were saying that it is not a facility for disorderly behavior.
No.
That's,
No.
have you
Because what I'm saying is that our people, especially our elders, children don't have the proper information on the hub.
Why are you talking about the elders? We're talking about music festival.
Yeah, no, this is what I'm saying. I'm talking about our elders' perception. They associate that with bad behavior because they don't have the proper information about the hub.
Mm.
So, okay, I know a friend of mine, you know, an elderly man, when they talk about dope, what they call dope, right? They associated ganja with like cocaine or heroin or something. They don't know the difference.
Yes,
they lump it all together.
That is correct.
You see, so that's why I'm making the distinction because they don't have the proper information. So they lump everything together. So somebody who might be strung out on crack, or he using dope, and then the dope what they're referring to, they're talking about ganja, but it's not that way. You see, so I'm just making the distinction that we have to have the proper information. True, we have been misled, you know, by certain institutions. Then we ain't gonna say the system. Certain institutions who give information on these things and come with the wrong information. You see, so I'm just making that point.
How do they go about? For example, when I went to the Ministry of Tourism, and you know, I do what I call my intelligence gathering, and sometimes I pose myself as an ordinary person. I pose myself as a user. I pose myself as a customer. I pose myself as a media person, because sometimes, you know, in some of those places, it's difficult to get information, and you have to have an intelligence how to get that information. The first thing that the person who spoke with me said, "Oh, we're not taking any more registration." I said, "But I haven't asked you. I haven't told you I come to register."
Register for what?
For the cannabis lounge.
Oh. You have to register to go into the lounge?
Yeah, man. What are you talking about?
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You're a vendor.
I didn't know that.
You're a vendor.
Uh-huh.
Because I wanted to know, look, how is this thing? Are people going to also be selling there?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And what is the regulation, whatever. And I couldn't get that kind of information.
Yeah.
I could not get that kind
I don't think they reached to that level yet. That's what I was trying to show you before.
So it is just going to be free smoking.
I think it's a free spirit kind of vibes. You know?
That is Woodstock.
That's Woodstock. Well,
you know Woodstock?
Yeah, I know. I know about Woodstock.
Okay.
You know? But at Woodstock, I don't think they was just using ganja alone.
I don't know. I've read many things. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But however, we know. Okay. But let's talk about cannabis. I mean, why do you think it is premature, seeing that they are just putting the whole cannabis framework, the medical cannabis framework in place? Do you think it's premature to make it part of an event of that nature, which is international?
No, I think they go hand in hand.
How?
Because, okay, if you take reggae music in particular, music in general, you know what I mean? You go to a music festival, you enjoy the music, and then the herb, use the herb, it make the event even more spectacular, in the sense that that person who is using the herb, you know, get a greater joy by just using the herb.
Yeah, but this is what I don't understand. So in other words, the herb is supposed to give you the same experience like if you buy some whiskey to drink.
No.
But that's what you are saying.
No.
But
No.
what else are you saying?
No, you
Well,
see,
explain to me what else you are saying.
you can't.
Because I can go. I listen to music. I listen. I'm very, very strong on music. 70s music and whatever. My genre is reggae and classical reggae. And I listen to music. I get great enjoyment of music. I don't drink whiskey. I don't take herb. I don't take marijuana. I don't take cannabis. So why is it? So are you saying that when I'm enjoying myself there, I don't enjoy the music?
Okay, but hear this now, right? I don't smoke, right? But I use it I make tea.
Yeah, but you
so what I'm saying to you is that you can't use the use of herb with alcohol. It's two different things.
No, you're not getting me. I'm not saying. Well, be careful with that, because then I'm happy that you bring that up, because then I'm going to bring that to you in a question to follow on that. The issue that I am saying that I'm trying to get from you, are you saying that if you listen to music, because when we were growing up, we thought that was the link. The link was if we sit down and we listen to Bob Marley music, and he give us all the lyrics and all whatever. Along with that, we have to smoke the spliff.
But
no, listen to that. That's what we thought. That's what it was. Now you are saying that's what it is.
But basically, when you listen to the music and you use the herb, you get a more in-depth understanding.
So what about other music? What about jazz and R&B? What about blues and whatever that have nothing to do with reggae and the nature of its lyrics?
No,
what about that?
But basically, in that culture, the blues and stuff like jazz, right? Because that music come out of the experience of the black struggle, just like reggae.
That is correct.
So within that
modern reggae.
Okay, but within that culture or within that environment, it have the same impact just like in the Rastafari movement.
You keep on saying this, Rastafari. It is not just this. We're talking about people. In other words, if music. Look, I believe music is, in a sense, it's a language, it's a movement, it's like an oxygen. Now, is it related simply to smoking or getting an experience, whether it is from a drink or this and that? Because listening to music, it turns you on without any injection of any drug or non-drug. Am I correct?
Yes, but you see, herb is not a drug. And what I'm saying, the point I'm making is that when you listen to music and you use the herb, it's a special vibe.
That special vibe, I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying.
Explain that special vibe. I don't understand it.
Yes, okay. The special vibe, I'm talking now from experience, right? That special vibes, it shows you, it open up your innermost parts of you to see what is actually happening in terms of black people's struggle. That's how I look at it. You see? Yeah. So it open up that sense of who we are as a people, you know, what we need to do in order to move forward, in order to liberate ourselves from the clutches of the Babylon system.
Yeah, but I know all these things is loaded. You are listening to Freedom FM 106.5. We are discussing the use of the cannabis lounge at the music festival. We were supposed to be joined at this time by one of our local artists, and the management have just called right now to say that the artist cannot show up. Now, I ain't taking no offense with that. That is, of course, after we worked with them for almost a week. Up to yesterday, we established with them and confirmed again that the artist was coming, and that if the artist could not show up, and that the management or the promoter should come. Now, just while we are in studio, they have called to say that they are not coming. Now, I suppose maybe my program or freedom is too small for them, but I want to let them know we live in a very small world. We live in a very small world, and things do go full circle. And so the program was supposed to be in 2 parts. That is where we promote the vending part of the program, for which we have Carl and Jay with us. And then we were supposed to blend it with the performance part. So we are not going to have the performance part, but we will continue our dialogue. So we are saying, therefore, you are saying that they are not, the authorities, and that is the Ministry of Tourism, they are not deliberately setting aside a facility for people to behave disorderly, to misbehave, or to do things that are criminal. Is that what you are saying?
Yeah.
Explain that to us.
Because...
explain that to the people in a way that...
Yeah, because what I'm saying, I made the point earlier that we being at this level in terms of the decriminalization of the herb is that I think that...
Now, you're using that. Explain to the people, even I should have asked, I had the lawyer, the counsel with us 3 weeks ago, and she explained some of these things. I forgot to ask her for that. When you speak to the people, your people hear you. What do you mean by decriminalizing the herb? Explain that to the people in a way that they can understand.
Well, from my understanding, decriminalization doesn't mean legalization.
No, well, explain to me what they mean by decriminalize. So it was it was a criminal offense to use it.
Yes, basically, if they catch you with herb, but even if they catch you now with a certain, they allow you a certain amount to be in your possession.
Okay, before, when was it decriminalized? Under what? Under previous administration, Harris's government?
I think it started under Dougie administration.
Oh, okay, fine.
The process.
The process.
Yeah.
The discussion and everything. The process.
Yeah.
But I think it took speed under Harris's. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay, so you are saying before, like...
And remember the Sankofa case.
Come on, tell me what is that all about. Tell the people that. What is that Sankofa?
Well, Brother
I don't know much about that. I only know of it.
Yeah, what happened, Brother Sankofa,
Who is Sankofa?
Well, he's a brethren, a Rasta man, you know.
Rasta man, yeah.
Yeah, I think a very knowledgeable brother.
I know, but
and
who is he?
He probably looked at the Constitution and saw that we had the right to, as the Rastafari movement, we see the herb as a sacrament, in the sense that we don't see using the herb in terms of how the general public they must just use it for recreational purposes. We see it as a sacrament, just like if you go to church, you get your communion and stuff like that. It's an integral part
but people don't
of
get
the movement
every day.
Yeah, I know that. But but I'm trying to.
I know. I just teasing you.
Yeah,
go on.
I'm trying to explain it so that the audience could get an understanding, right?
Sorry for that. Go on.
So that he said basically that in the Constitution, as the Rastafari movement, we had the right to use the herb as a sacrament, and he took the matter to court, and the court.
So he's legally trained. He's a trained man in law.
No, he's not. But basically, by reading,
he's intelligent.
Yeah, he could see.
Continue.
He could see the contradictions.
One of these days, I must bring him here.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
You know,
yes.
so coming out of that judgment,
yes,
the government was forced now under Timothy Harris administration now to come to a form of decriminalization because he won the case. You see. So that is where I think things has...
Well, the lawyer who came here, Jeanne Williams, she explained to the public that out of that case came 3 things. One, that what you said, that it is a sacrament for those who are of the Rasta. What do you think? Rastafarian is a religion or whatever it is?
No, we see Rasta. We don't use the term religion. It's a way of life.
Okay. But you're using movement. He's saying movement.
Yeah, but I use the Rasta.
Okay, fine. That was one of them. The
Mhm.
second one, she said that the court. You have a call? Okay, let's take the call. Let's take the call. You on air, please.
Mr. Carl.
You on air, please.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
Yes.
Adrian, good afternoon. Kalonji.
Yes.
Yes, good afternoon, brother.
Speaking of using marijuana or ganja, it does not influence you to do nothing which will hurt anybody. You sit down, you meditate. For example, you're walking, you come over a whole mountain all by yourself. You got drink rum. I consume both. You drink alcohol, you get drunk. Sometimes you're unaware of what you personally did. You fall on, you broke your hand and all kind of stupidness. When we also look at music, it's something totally different. Because I started taking part in carnival when I was 10 years old. Had no use of either or. And so like the music, the guitar, the instruments, the clown music, the stringman music, inspired me to say, well, just perform. And up to today, I still do that. But sometimes, most of the times now I'm in senior years, I use both because that kind of elevate the enjoyment, because it brings out the real spirit, the old time dance. Because you don't see much clowns perform the old time dance. I taught it in schools already, but hey, respect. Good afternoon.
There's one? Yeah. Yes, let's take them. You on air, please. Yeah. You on air.
Good afternoon. I'm listening to the conversation, and this conversation has been going on for quite a while in terms of the context of it, not just between both of you, but from the general public. And when Waskolanji speak of Babylon system, that is what Rastafari referred to, the system that, gave this holy herb the bad reputation that it has. Because I've heard you, Mr. Adrian, use the term bad behavior. And you've asked Kalandi on numerous occasions to define what he is speaking about. But I would like for you to define what you term as bad behavior, if you will. And to go a little deeper, sometimes the conversation around this cannabis is in bad faith. Because some of the people are still holding on to the negative things that they were taught about the herb. Unless you partake of it and you understand it fully, you're going to always have that negative connotation that the mass of people gave you about the herb. That when you use the herb, you want to engage in criminal activity, you want to engage in sexual activities with white people that are supposed to be above you. These are the kind of propaganda that was pushed out about this herb, And the only way we're going to get away from that is to finally realize that what it was a god-awful lie. So why should we continue to hold on to the lie when it is proven in front of our faces on a daily basis by many studies that it is not so? Rastafari keep many events on the weekends, in the week, and they make use of herb, and you don't hear of one incident of criminality. Who you are as a person is who you are as a person, whether you drink rum or you smoke weed. You are who you are. It don't make you do anything. You are who you are. So if Rastafari says it's a sacrament that we use it for to gain a higher understanding, then in order for you to understand it, you may have to walk the path yourself. Because Kalanji couldn't sit there for hours and try to explain to you what that sensation is. But if you've never experienced it, how could you know? But you hear Christians every day say that they experience the Holy Ghost. I hear them say so all the time. I see them running around screaming and hollering say they experience the Holy Ghost. But they could never explain to me from a logical and factual standpoint what it is to be taken over by the Holy Ghost. But yet still people follow that belief on a daily basis. So how can you follow that belief that somebody is taken over by the Holy Ghost? But you can't seem to fathom that if you use the holy herbs, you go into a different state of mind where your senses are heightened, your spirit is open to lots of things that would otherwise be blocked from your psyche. Why are those two things so far apart from each other, but it is easy to believe that somebody get possessed by the Holy Ghost? We have to change our thinking about this thing. It was based on propaganda and lies. And what we're doing from a system standpoint in terms of decriminalization and having cannabis lounge and what's not, is that we want to, but we don't want to because of international pressure. Because we operate in a geopolitical world where the bigger superpowers determine what we could do as small people. But if you look at the superpower that is making use of this herb, they're making millions of dollars from it. And they have the cannabis loans and they have the this and they have the that. But we down here have to tippy-toe because we don't know what contraventions and treaties we're going to violate if we go all out with it because we're still operating in bad faith when it comes to this. And every time somebody open their mouth about it, it's the same thing. That's why Kalandi spoke to the elders having this notion that something about cannabis is still bad. Because we're operating in a society that we have to consider everybody's position. No, if I am using cannabis and somebody wants to come by me and smoke cigarette, I'm not having that. No time at all. We're in the same sphere, we're in the same vibes. You go over there and I don't go over there because me ain't coming over by you to smoke my cannabis. I stay in here in my own little personal zone. I don't want your scent. So if somebody who is smoking cigarette and cigarette is smoking up and down the place and a regular and they tell you that it's bad for your health, scientists prove that, but we're still selling it. But when it comes to the herb, it is so egregious to believe that what you were taught ain't so. So I think the conversation is a good conversation, but again, people need to let go of their bad faith about this thing. From the top, come right down. Give thanks.
I want to respond to one thing, and then we continue with the other question that from the previous caller. I don't think I'm taking any position. I'm not taking a position to say
you're playing devil's advocate.
I know, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm not taking any position as to say whether cannabis is good or bad. I use cannabis. I use tea. I don't smoke. I don't think God gave us no chimney, so I don't smoke. I did that when I was at school. I use it as tea, and cannabis has helped me to sleep. I say that. I have said that before. The point is, I was asking you the question to explain to the people the connotation with respect to taking cannabis makes you behave bad. That's the issue. I was not taking a position to say it make you behave bad. And in fact, I have seen some friends of mine who do behave bad when they take cannabis. I don't know why. And like I said when Gian was there, I don't know why. Some of my friends, they go into asylums. Some of them drop out from school. Some of them lost their jobs. Some of them were expelled from universities. I don't know. One caller said, what we took, we don't know what you were taking. And he was right. We don't know what mixture. You go and buy it. And I remember, for example, as I said once on a program, boy, when you couldn't get enough, we know certain plants that give you kind of high, like plantain. We call it plantain in French, but it's plantain. It's not the plantain for the banana, the plantain plant. We dry it up the same way. If you have a little of the grass, we cut it up and we mix it up, whatever. So when you go and you buy, or when your friend give you, and they were right, you don't know what you're taking. And the other guy, the caller says, look, in most of the cases, you are actually taking mixtures of things that are harmful, not necessarily the pure cannabis. You see what I'm saying? So I'm asking you the question for you to explain to the listeners, in a sense, whether there is any need for fear concerning that. And I think I'm in place to ask you that. But we're not saying that the herb itself causes people to behave bad. That is the point that we are making. Now, if you want to say anything on that, and then we have to go back to the issue where the previous caller said that he can appreciate and enjoy music without taking cannabis. Remember what he said? So I want you to respond to that and then go back to that question.
Well, let me say this. I have a study here, right, from Thailand University, Ganja Oil and the Science Behind Changing Views in Thailand, right? It's a study here where they show that the people have cancer and different ailments, right? Mm-hmm. They're talking about people with Parkinson's disease. Mm-hmm. No, yeah. 406 cancer patients, 257 migraine patients, 135 Parkinson patients, and 3,337 people experiencing body aches, felt less pain, slept well, and ate better after a month of long experiment.
Mm-hmm. I have read some of the
right?
report. I agree. I have read some of the report.
This is by using...
And apart from just what you're saying there, I know what it has done for me.
Okay. But the point I'm making...
But then, I'll quickly say, there is something that we have to bear in mind. For example, I'm just sharing that with you. Because I am not like somebody who's just new to it. A lot, because I thought, I saw some of my friends, a lot of the way you respond, although what you get, you don't know what mixture that you were getting, a lot of the behavior or the response was more out of fear. So if you get the TLC high, then you begin to panic. Now, I have learned from my experience that you do not need to panic. For example, let me give you a simple example on that. I used to play cricket. I was a fast bowler on the team. And we play village cricket every Sunday. Boy, that particular Sunday, boy, we used to play in a band, went to dance. And fella must have given me a weed and whatever, and take a few puffs from him, whatever. But that gave me a high. I mean a serious high. I mean serious high. I went home. I drank some milk. I took some liquid and whatever. I wake up the Monday morning and I go to teach. I still high. But I am panicking. I came in the afternoon after school. I still high. So we went out. Every afternoon, you have to report for cricket practice. I reported for cricket practice. We practiced for about an hour or whatever, hour and a half. After the practice, after bowling a few overs and whatever, half an hour, I feel cool. I'm back to normal. And I learned from that. Whenever I feel this kind of thing, I do exercises. So I'm just saying that. Because, one, you do not know the mixture that you are getting. Secondly, a lot of this thing is the stigma that people have attributed to this thing, and therefore it triggers the fear in you. Like there are some friends of mine say, "Boy, it's good, but I'll never use it." But you have to deal with that. How you deal with that?
Well, you see, because like the caller before said, is the propaganda that the powers that we have put up. Because, for instance, the reason why herb was legal before 1935, hemp, the reason why, my understanding is the reason why it became illegal is because the powers that be see that they could use oil in terms of producing a lot of other products, which the cannabis could produce. Yeah. So they get Congress, especially in the United States, to make weed illegal because they want to make certain products, like plastics and other forms of products. The powers that I think was I can't remember the person's name, but I think they had an oil company like the Rockefellers and people like that, right? So that's why they made the herb illegal, because they see that by using oil, the same products that could be used from cannabis, I think they see they will be cheaper, because hemp rope is one of the best ropes that people use in the boat industry.
Okay, but I want you, we don't have much time.
Yeah, we don't have
about
much.
5 minutes. I want you to respond to
Yeah,
the previous caller. The previous caller says that he enjoys music, but he does not have to smoke.
Yeah, but hear this. I just want to leave with this, is that when I mention ganja oil to people who have pain, they say, oh no, I can't use that. Right? Because of the information that have been fed.
Yeah, that's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying that in using the herb and listening to the music, it enhances the vibration in a much better way, based on my experience.
Yeah, but the people, what I'm saying now, I'm saying the very same thing to you, and people who don't smoke, or don't smoke, or don't chew herb, or don't drink the tea, can they listen to music and enjoy music, or don't drink alcohol, enjoy music and celebrate just the same?
Yes, but not at the level when you use the herb.
Be careful.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
I know it. I know of many friends of mine and myself. I enjoy music and I don't take these other things.
I agree.
And I'm telling you, I really enjoy music. I dance. And I don't take any of those other stuff because in other words, the music reach me. Not just because I take a substance.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making to you.
Yeah, I understand. But what I'm saying that the caller also made the point where you see people taking with the Holy Ghost. Wait, let me explain. The Holy Ghost is our ancestors reaching out to us. Whether it's in church.
Where you get that from?
I know that. I experienced
it. I ask you where you get that from.
I got it in
What is the basis for that?
The basis for that?
Yes.
In Brooklyn. In Prospect Park, every Sunday, especially in the summertime, is that there's a drumming session. And I cite where the sister took in, where you recall, with the Holy Ghost, with the feeling, based on the beating of the drum. It's the same thing in the church. But if you never experience, you can't make the connection.
So you are saying that I have to be careful with that, and because I see a number of people, they drum. They dance and they get themselves into a trance.
Yeah.
That have nothing to do with Holy Ghost.
Yeah, but that's what No, listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. In the church we call it the Holy Ghost. But
who said they call it the Holy Ghost?
That's what we call.
That's what you. No, not you because you don't go to church.
No, I explain. No, listen what I'm saying. Let me get experience. Okay. My aunt in Nevis, right? One of the local churches, right? She came down, they had a convention, and my mother sent me to church with her.
When you were small?
Yeah, right? And somebody in the same pew took in with the Holy Ghost, roll all over us. I was there. You see, so
what did you do?
No, I can't do nothing.
So, wait, you ain't got it? You ain't got it?
No, what?
You didn't get it?
I didn't get the Holy Ghost, but the person got the Holy Ghost. But what I'm saying to you is that when we talk about the Holy Ghost, that's
be careful.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you.
Because a lot of this talk about Holy Ghost is blasphemy, you know.
Be careful with that. Listen what I'm saying. That's the way how we they taught us to look at it. The system.
Anyway, go on.
The point I'm making.
The system is not a big monolith.
Listen what I'm saying, right? The Holy Ghost is our ancestors reaching out to us in a spiritual way.
That's one perspective.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's one perspective.
Yeah, I experience it.
Yeah.
You see, in the drumming.
Let me tell you something. I understand what you're saying there. I came from Guyana. I went to Guyana, CPL Guyana, last year. You know, I don't know if you follow CPL. I went
cricket.
We from St. Lucia Kings, and we won the championship. While I was there, I went to what I realized afterwards was a voodoo seance. And I spent, about 2 or 3 hours with them. And the whole setting, they have food, they have this, they have drinks and whatever, and they play their music and they get into a trance and whatever. And look, let me tell you something. At some stage, it is frightening. This is not, they never claimed that was Holy Ghost. In fact, what you were saying is they say they were invoking the spirit.
Exactly.
And the spirit they're talking about is evil spirit.
No,
What are you talking about?
no. You see, that's the way we were taught to look at it. That's what I'm saying.
Anyway, we have 5 more minutes.
Okay. But before we go any further, I just want to say, you see that you had to have the proper understanding.
I like it.
You see, because our people, what happens is that, okay, we talk about Obia here.
Yeah.
Right? And you talk about voodoo.
Yeah.
It's a religion like any other religion. But what happens is that our oppressors, the people who exploit us, the colonizers, they have demonized our religious practices.
That's correct.
And they even pass laws. For instance, back in slavery days, we couldn't drum.
We know that.
But
that was not just for religion. That's for control.
Yeah,
that's for control.
That's what I'm saying. So they outlawed it, and you will hear with people saying,
"No, there's nothing like outlaw. They can't outlaw in a slave system.
They pass a law.
You know, in slave system, you don't have to pass no law.
I know that.
No, because in slave system, the slaves are things. They are properties of the owner.
Exactly.
Well, you don't pass law for your property.
But they pass a law to outlaw it.
No, that would be after emancipation.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Yeah, but go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is that even up to this day, you hear people saying, oh, that's an Obia man and it's something evil. They don't have the proper understanding that is our culture.
The black hat man.
Yeah.
Black hat man.
Exactly. So what I'm saying, we internalize these things. You know what I'm saying?
You making sense.
Yeah, we internalize them. Yeah. We keep perpetuating it, and it become real. To us. So,
in fact, I would people who it's a nice. I'm just looking at the general perspective. Bonnie Wailer did a masterpiece.
The Black Heart Man.
The Black Heart Man. Yeah. And I play that song all the time. And not only just the lyrics of the song. I'll come to the lyrics. I like the arrangement of the song.
It's a classic.
It transports you. It brings you up and it brings you down. But it is what it represents, and that's exactly what you're saying there. You can create the concept. And then you can give the concept a life of itself. Because then, I like the part where he himself in the song, he became the Black Heart Man.
Exactly.
I love that song. You listen to the song?
Yeah, man. Every day I listen. But before we go any further, before we wrap up, I'd just like to inform the public.
Yes.
Basically, tomorrow.
Yes.
In the African village, the Cecil Moonlight Robert Square there, where it's called Pretoria Square. I want to give the people a history.
Where is that?
In the circus.
Well, tell them the circus.
No, because what I'm saying, the little square there, is named Pretoria Square because
you mean by the restaurant?
Right in front of the Bank of Nevis.
Yes.
Right? This the Bank of Nevis on one side of the street, and this little square there.
The square
with the cannon.
Yeah. That is by the lemongrass restaurant.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's named Pretoria Square.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the reason why I just got this information, in 1899, the British, they had a war between the Boers and the British in South Africa in 1899. The British won the war and they named that square Pretoria Square.
Yes.
So now we're renaming it now, the Cecil Moonlight Roberts Square or the African village.
Who give you all that mandate to do that?
Our people, because
who's there? We
the masses, our people.
How the masses? In democracy, popular democracy don't work.
Okay,
like
but I don't even believe in democracy, but that's another argument. I believe in African liberation. So what I'm saying to you now, in the African village tomorrow, we'll be having a solidarity rally.
What time?
From 12 until say 6, 7 o'clock.
Why so long?
Yeah, because it's in the spirit of music festival too.
Be taken away from the music.
No, they could go afterwards. We ain't going. I mean, music festival start at 6. We could wind up at 5:30 or whatever.
Okay, very nice.
But what I'm saying is that we'll be having a solidarity rally for the Sahel states in Africa, which is Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And especially in solidarity with Brother Abraham Traore. So we like the people to come out to show that solidarity because we have direct links with the Sahel states, and we are saying is that we see them as laying the foundation for real and true African liberation.
So who will be the speakers there?
But anybody could come and speak and show solidarity.
Anybody?
Anybody.
So what about irrational persons?
No, I don't think we're going to have irrational persons because...
I thought you said there was a premier speaker who was coming.
No. There's no premier speaker. We just want to explain three things.
Okay.
How we could achieve our citizenship in the Sahel states, the Pan-African wallet, the digital wallet, the Pan-African wallet, where we want to create a cooperative where we could invest the money to deal with the Pan-African wallet so we could raise the gold reserves in the Sahel states.
We don't have much time. Why don't we, at a subsequent time, we have a good discussion on that?
Well, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But
you have been discussing about this creation of this movement and this the cooperative and so on.
Yeah.
In fact, I gave you some documents, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're inviting everybody to come?
To come out, to show solidarity with the Sahel states because we know that the powers that be, the imperialist forces, they want to destroy the Sahel states and the leaders in the Sahel states.
So
especially,
you'll be one of the speakers?
Yeah, I'll be one of the speakers outlining these things.
Questions?
Sure, we don't have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we don't deal with democracy, we deal with African liberation. You know, and we are saying basically is that, you know, we see democracy as a farce because President Aristide was democratically elected twice.
Let's not go there.
And he was removed.
Let's not go
there. Okay, we ain't going to go there. That's for another program.
Yeah. It's really a joy. It's a joy that that you consented to come. And you have raised a lot of issues now. We wanted to kill two birds with one stone. We wanted to speak about the product and speak about the performance. Now, we didn't have the performance, but I think we spoke about the product. In fact, we are candid on the things that we said. Now, which means, therefore, we need to have a follow-up.
Whenever you're ready.
We need to have a serious follow-up. One on the... Because I told Jayan that next time that she's coming to speak with me on the Cannabis Authority, I want somebody else from the Rastafari, whatever. I want another perspective.
But I think Brother Sankofa will be a good person.
Okay, fine. So we need to do that. Secondly, we at a subsequent time we need to find time to speak on that project that you have been working on, that project and that cooperative.
Yeah. Because it's very important.
Yeah. So, thank you for listening, and thank you, Kalenji, for showing up and giving us your education.
Yeah. And before we go on...
And don't feel offended that we are not... In other words, we are not... It is not a war.
No.
It's not a war. It's
a discussion.
It is not an us versus them. But it is the provocation also open eyes. That's what we are doing. We are trying to, as best as possible, to remove that stigma, the stigma which was formed, in a sense, by miseducation. And I think both of us are on that same wavelength.
But one of the things I think we need in this country is a national consciousness. We don't have that.
Now you're taking me to another. So you have been listening to issue.
Let me say this before you close.
Yes.
What Granny said, follow the leader. Abraham Traore is the leader. Give thanks.
Who is that Abraham Traore?
Abraham Traore. That's the leader in Burkina Faso, 37 years old.
But I just told you, I just got a report from the IMF. IMF have just, Burkina Faso have just taken an extended loan from IMF of $141 million.
Okay.
And we'll speak the implication of that. So thank you for listening. See you next week. Same time, same place. God bless.
Toronto's #1 station.